Good morning, and let me tell you about Bob. Now, Bob is a patient of mine. I really like this guy, known him pretty well, seen him quite a few times, and I've helped him with conditions that he's been told were not fixable and no one else had been able to work on. So we have a very good relationship, in my opinion. Bob's a little bit sensitive. And the other day, he came in and he was spitting vinegar. My woman in the front said, Bob called up and he's a little upset with the way you answered a question last week. I said, okay. And he's going to want to talk to you about it. I said, okay. So Bob comes in and he had asked me if I do car accident cases because he had been hit by a car. I said, no. If you want that, you go across the street. Those guys do it. Administratively, it's a lot more work than I want to deal with, and frankly, it's not worth my time. And then I thought we just moved on. Well, Bob didn't like the way I said that sentence. And the next week he comes in and he's like, yeah, I want to tell you about why my feelings are hurt because of what you said. Can I tell you about it? I'm like, he said, do you want to hear it? I said, no. But I will because I know you want to tell me. And he proceeds to tell me what I just told you. And I said, Bob, we had like a good 5 to 10 minute conversation. The entire rest of the conversation, how was that? It was good. How was my demeanor? It was good. Have I ever treated you with less than 100% attention, less than 100% care? No. So you took one sentence, because what Bob really said is, so we had that conversation and I was thinking, and I said, now there's your first problem. Because what Bob did was he started thinking. And he started taking that one thing, running it through his history, and turning it into hurt feelings. He amplified, magnified, made a mountain out of a molehill of a single piece of information at the expense of all the other pieces of information, as well as at the expense of his own happiness. Now, I wouldn't be telling you the story except Bob came in yesterday. And I see him again. Now, I'm doing work with biomechanics, helping people restore their posture. And Bob's feet, he wanted work, and he's very interested in doing this so he could restore his full function. I walked him through an exercise that has to do with tibial rotation, and that's where essentially you crank your lower tibia if you don't have the range of motion for your tibia, your shin bone, to rotate. You sort of help it manually, and then you hold in that position and you rest. And we demonstrated it a few times in the office, and Bob, tried to do it in the office, and he was able to do it a little bit. Comes in, and this poor guy, he's like really, really having a day. I'm like, how are you? He's like, what's the matter? Well, I couldn't do the exercise because my shoulder's not quite right, because he had an incident. And so, blah, blah, blah. And he's really bent out of shape. I'm like, Bob, how is everything else in your life? Everything else is good. Great. And, okay, this is a little setback. It's not a big thing. And this is really good. This happened early on. Now we know when we're working to set up your exercises. I'll make sure that we demonstrate it in the office, that you practice them in the office, that we're positive that they'll work with you. So that way, you're not going to get set back. And this is really, really good because we learned something. So that's the important part. Life is going to hand you lemons sometimes. What did I learn from this? How am I going to improve? But not only did we learn that, I had a really good talk with Bob because I know him, and I said, listen, your whole life, you've been doing this with everything. You have issues sometimes with happiness. Do you think this might have something to do with that? Are you seeing this pattern clearly? We all do this. It's called catastrophizing. Some people do it more than others. If we're able to find this pattern and thin it, happiness becomes much easier. Success becomes easier. Life becomes easier. Because we're seeing things more clearly. What Bob's been doing is amplifying any negative events and then defining his presence by that one negative event out of 100, like with that sentence I said to him. I said, Bob, seriously, look at everything I do. Look at everything. Does that fit the right context? Is that really how I show that I feel about you? See what we do? We distort. It's like a lens. It's a distorted lens. It's like funhouse mirrors. Once you start to see that in yourself, look in your own life, where you find that, begin to let it go. And then you start tasting freedom. Dr. Chris, love you. I want you to have a great day.